Good morning. Well, we're doing a little shop work today. We're going to keep working on this Anhydrous bar here. I went to the local hardware store and bought them out of cheap black paint, all they had, so we can keep painting this. We'll have plenty to finish this, but I got enough for maybe doing some on the planters or whatever else we need it for. So, yeah, I'm just going to keep working through changing those boots and taking the blades up and putting new beaver tails on, and we'll get that done. And then we've got to change out another one of these brackets that we did this one yesterday. We got to do the one on the other side. We got to trace some lines down, make sure we're everything's labeled correctly, and grease it. And hopefully we can get it done today. All right, well, we're working our way across here. I have made it into the very center row, and that's one that I'm going to turn into one with a vapor line on it. So I talked about this in yesterday's video a little bit, but basically we have 4 vapor lines coming off of our coolers, 2 off of each one of them, and the 2 on this side had run all the way over to these 2 rows. And I'm getting a lot of burn on the ends when I turn, and I think it's the vapor coming out of these tubes, and I think the length of them has something to do with it. That's this big one right here. And so I'm actually going to move them. We're going to put them in the center row and the other one over there, which are right next to the cooler, so I can have a lot shorter hoses. And the reason that I don't think they were there to start with is because you get a little extra vapor there, and it can be a little tougher to seal those rows, and you don't want them in rows that are just tougher to seal to start with, and the rows behind tire tracks are tougher to seal. But look, I don't have a tire there, so that's why I think I can put one here. The one in the center I can do no problem anyway. So we're gonna do those 2 rows. We'll skip that one that's right underneath the coolers that is in a tire track, and then we'll leave the 2 on here where they were originally for this cooler anyway. So anyway, point being, I've gotten to one of those rows where we are putting on the vapor line, the vent line, and so it uses a little bit of a different tube setup. We've just had one of these on almost all the rows so far, and now we're putting on this one where it's got this bigger with the flattened deal. So that fits down in there, and then we have a different rubber plug, seal, whatever, that fits in there to take up the rest of this gap in there. So these have this big huge slotted gap in there because there's a lot of different configurations and tubes that you can run on this bar. We run Anhydrous obviously with it, and so we have the single lines and then use the big plugs for those. We have these doubles with the vent, and we use the little plugs. The outside rows get 2 tubes where they get this smashed one for the half rate. We also use the smaller plugs in those rows. But you can run a liquid tube on these bars, which this may actually be a liquid tube, I don't know. Or you can run dry fertilizer. People run these and pull a dry cart, air cart, and have air lines that run to each row instead of anhydrous lines. And so there's a different tube that fits in that slot for dry fertilizer as well. Well, I have emptied 3 cans of paint this morning. We're getting there. We're getting there. So the other day we had that cylinder break on the sprayer, right? Well, we did get a new one. Right here it is. I think Dad's out working on getting that installed. I was going to go out and see how he's doing. Yeah, he's working on some nozzle stuff too, but this is our cylinder. It broke apart here the other day. We gotta fix that. So the problem is this bolt won't come out, and it's gonna require some heat. So Dad's got it soaking, but this is gonna be a fun one. So I was out working on or looking at that sprayer with Dad, and I noticed there are 3 vehicles sitting in my driveway. I want to know what the heck's going on. So we're going to investigate. What are we doing here, people? I'm not sure. They seem okay, legit, but I'm a little skeptical. We're watching. I'm trying to get the tension off of it. We did get that bolt to spin a little bit though. It's coming. Well, we got this side apart, so there's no tension on that cylinder. The boom wanted to creep forward, and we had some bracing, but it kind of was working over it, so we got it temporarily held. Dad's going to get the backhoe and park it in front of it so that the boom doesn't move, because there's a lot of weight and leverage there. And we got this bolt to move ever so slightly. So we're just going to have to keep heating and pounding, I think, and it'll go eventually. Look at that. Moved. Getting the nut off. Well, Dad cleaned the bolt up. I worked on the bar some more, and we're ready to take this out there and put it on, I guess. Yeah, that's right. Try it. Okay, it is back together, and the bolts are tight. We'll have to fold it up and stuff slowly, because when you get air in cylinders like that, sometimes they jump and act erratically. But should work. See how far it moves when he backs away from it. Yeah, a long ways. I might have to hold it. Yeah, it just wants to move forward all the way, so Dad's gonna get the sprayer and fire it up. And hopefully it'll unfold. That's down. Oh! Easy, easy, easy. Okay, easy, okay. Just stay out of the way. Let him work it a couple of times. Raise it up so it doesn't hit nothing. I thought it was going to hit that truck for a second. Wingtips fold in, and then it folds over, and then they'll start going around forward. All seems okay. Okay, probably do it a couple more times just to make sure. It's lunchtime, so I'm going home for lunch. The vehicles are all gone. I don't know how much I should or should not say about who and what they were doing there, so I'm going to leave it pretty vague, but let's just say it's a law enforcement agency with an interest in the area. So they were staging in my driveway, apparently. Back to working on this bar. I've got 3 more rows put back together. Well, 2 to take apart and put back together, and 1 just to put back together. And then we got to go get some more vapor tubing. But yeah, we're almost done here. You guys remember when we were finishing up the Anhydrous and I kept telling you that the nitro alert monitor was telling me row 6 was wrong, or there was something wrong with it, and I couldn't figure out anything was wrong with row 6, or really line 6, not row 6, because there's 2 lines on the first one, so it should have been 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It should have been this one, and I just couldn't find anything that was wrong with it. And we've got labels on these. These are the sensors for the nitro alert that should have been telling me, this one here, it says row 6, and so I had taken it apart and looked at it and stuff. Turns out they were plugged in wrong. I don't know how they got that way. I don't think it was that way last year first year we ran this, but it's possible that it was. I don't really know. But I traced some wires down and redid them. Basically, they were daisy chained backwards. I don't think any of these rows were reading right. And so I hooked them in the right way. And I wanted to test them. How can I test these? Well, these are a temperature sensor. And so if you'll look up there in the cab, you'll notice that I have that monitor on. And the one side there's got the bar graphs up high already because I just got done doing this. So we're gonna go to the middle, but ice. I got some ice cubes. So let me climb in there. Okay, so we can kind of see that monitor right there. See the one with the bars? That's because those ones are already cold. But what I'm gonna do is take these ice cubes and we're gonna set them on row number 11. And then we're gonna watch, I don't know if you can see that or not, but watch our monitor there. And now we've got another row spiking up. That would be row number 11. As long as I go up there and verify that it is row 11. Let's go. It is indeed 10, 11. So that's the one. It's a negative, means the temperature is colder than the average. These other ones were all colder. They're still warming back up. The other ones are above average now because I've cooled so many of them down. So that was cool. Cool way to check. Now all I have to do is trace the lines and make sure that they're going to the correct rows. I know that the numbers on the sensors are correct for what the monitor says. Now we just have to make sure that they go to the right rows. So I've been taking my air compressor, air hose, and blowing it into these as I take them off. One, to make sure the line is clear, but two, then I can see how that line moves. That one is line 6. I'm sure of it. So we're gonna hook that one up to line 6. Finally made it to the last row here. Finish painting it up and put the boot on. All right, I got us all back together except for the boots with the vapor lines, and I need some more of this vapor tubing to replace the old stuff that we've got laying out here that's old and discolored and you know, prone to breakage. So they're short runs. We just got to go from that port right there down around to this row, and then from the other side of it to that one, and the same thing on the other side. So I don't need a ton of it. I think 50 feet will be more than enough for the 4 runs that we need. I'm gonna run to a place that's relatively local that does anhydrous bar stuff. They should have it. We'll go get it and we'll come back and do that. The other thing I want to do yet is take this apart. There's an impeller in there that spins around. It's supposed to help evenly distribute the flow, and I did the one on the other wing and it was really dirty and hard to get out, so I want to take that apart on this one. There's one in the center. I'm not sure if there's one up there on that one or not, but we'll take it apart and see what's in there, and we can clean our screens out. Yeah. Oh, and we got to put this bracket on here. I got it right there. We got to put this one on yet so that that's not so wiggly. Well, I got my coil of hose and we're working on getting these vapor lines put in. I got one done. It goes from here down around to that one. Trying to keep them as short as possible. So yeah, this one will run up and go to the other side of this one, and then we got 2 over there for the other cooler. Okay, the row units are all put back together. The vapor lines are replaced. I want to open up these Impelicone, the distributors, next. So these are the pieces that distribute the anhydrous to each individual row. There's a main hose comes in here, comes from the distributor right behind the coolers. This is the section control valve that turns these rows on and off, and then there are 5 rows that are controlled by this particular distributor and valve. Yeah, so we're going to take this cover off and I'll show you how it works in there. Pretty simple. Okay. So this little piece in here is supposed to spin and move, and yeah. Problem is getting it out. The one on over there, I really struggled to get it out. We'll see if this one wants to come any easier or not. Found this bolt that is just the perfect size. It's not really threaded, but it's just the perfect size to get it to bite. And then I can wiggle it. Oh yeah. And pull it out. And then you see we got that little impeller deal in there. And it fits down in that slot. And all those holes are associated with these, and a lot of them are plugged off, but the ones that aren't that's where the anhydrous flows through it. So we're going to clean this thing up. I'm going to clean this up in there a little bit, and I'll put it back together. Much better. Slides in and out, spins. Nice. I cleaned out that distributor over there and this one. There is a bigger impeller cone deal in that one. This is the one that goes to each of the 3 sections. And while we're cleaning out stuff, decided I better clean our screens out in here. I did one. Holy cow, look at all that. That all came out of one of those 2 screens. So that's all rust flakes that come out of the tanks. Let's see what the other one here looks like. Maybe more threads on there than I thought. Yeah. Wow. Well, should I call our supplier up, ask them if they want their rust back from their tanks? That's quite a little pile if you ask me. That's what screens are for. Now, get it off my nice clean bar. Okay, what's next? This bracket over here. We gotta fix this wiggliness. So we gotta take this hose apart here and then take that old black bracket off, and we'll put our green one on that's much heavier. All right, we got that bracket changed. More better. I left this hose off because, like I said, we were going to replace these hoses. I am going to wait until spring to do it, though, because it's a dated hose, and so they expire, and there's no point in putting something on now that will expire a year sooner than if I wait until, say, March to put it on and get a new hose then that would give me an extra year. So we're going to do that. Next thing I need to replace, the hoses that run to my pressure gauges there. Last year, I blew a couple of them, and so I had a splice in the middle here. And, well, I bought what I could find at the time, but they're brass, and you're not supposed to use brass splices in anhydrous hoses, and I didn't get them replaced before this year, but we're going to replace them now. I've got the line to do it, so we're going to pull those off. They actually don't come out of a port up here. They come out down here, so we just got to run a line across to replace that one, and then the one on the other side. Got that done. Last thing that I know of, let's get a grease gun and grease it. All right, so there's 3 grease zerks on every row, and then the only other ones are on the caster wheel pivots. So I believe I've gotten them all. Everything's good to go. There's nothing on this center thing here, is there? Nope. Doesn't look like it. I wish somebody would make a grease gun tip coupler that was not total garbage. Tried another one. This one, I don't know. It's a locking one. Is there a brand on it? No, I don't see anything. I think I got it at Rural King. It worked good for the first 10 or so. Junk. Go ahead. Tell me how I'm supposed to use the lock and lube. I know all about them. They're garbage too. I've tried them. Well, good to go. Ready for Sidedress 23. Let's fold this thing up. We're not going to get it out of here tonight because too much work to move everything from where it's going to go, and it's almost 6 o'clock, so I'm going to go home, but we're going to fold it up at least. That'll do. Cool. All right, well, tomorrow we'll get that out of here, and I don't know what else we're going to do. After we unhook that, my plan was to get the corn planter hooked back up so we can start cleaning that up, but that's probably a next week project, not a Friday project. Got my mask out of the tractor there we'll put up here. And yeah, we might have a chance to scout some fields tomorrow and look at some stuff. It's dried off enough today we could go do it now, but like I said, it's late. I'm going home. I don't know if it's supposed to rain tomorrow or not, so we might, if it's not raining, we might take the gator down to Berkey. We've got some spraying to do around the edges of some cornfields down there that needs to happen, so maybe we'll do that. But we've got clethodim in the tank that we need to get get out so we don't kill our corn. But anyway, thanks for watching today. Have a great night. Hit that like and subscribe button. Questions, comments, leave them down below. We'll see you again tomorrow.